All right, all right. Super excited for today's trade talks. Super stoked I got it to work, I think, correctly. So we will go ahead and get started here. I got myself, Mr. Anointed Ali, and we will have Meche here once she hops on. So we'll give it a quick second. We'll let a few people keep hopping on, and we'll get started here in just about 1 minute. So, Anointed, are you there? And feel free to post in the chat if you can hear me and see me all right. I hopefully have the chat on correctly, but post in the chat if you can hear me and see me okay.
I am here.
Beautiful. All right. I think Meche is on as well. Let me go ahead and bring you up. All right. Hey, Lori. Looks like I'm coming through all clear. This is awesome. This is the first time I've organized this on the back end, so I'm starting to get excited here. So welcome, Meche. Welcome, Anointed. So today's going to be a special episode. Again, I hopefully can share everything all correctly, but we're going to talk about what's going on in the markets this month. Really get you guys inside the vision of what we see, so that we can help you guys set up what you could possibly see, pan out in the markets. I love market breakdowns, kind of like, us analysts giving you the breakdown of what we see and what we think is going to happen. So I'll go ahead and just kick it around to us traders. This doesn't have to be super formal, but what we see in the markets, what you think you're setting up for. Have you had any good trades in this month so far? Has the market sentiment been bullish, bearish? What do you think? Either it's fundamentally or maybe stock specific, crypto specific. What have you been seeing in the market? So I'll start kicking it to Meche first. Just give me an idea of how the markets have been treating you this month and what maybe you can expect from the markets, and what really do you think has been driving the markets this month here in July?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So welcome everybody. Welcome everybody that it's live in here and everybody that it's seeing this record. So I'm so excited in this platform. The Trader Talks it's amazing. So yeah, I think the markets, well, especially of course the crypto. I know we have the pleasure to have Noah and Anointed in this call. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not an expert in crypto. That's why I follow these two guys, and I follow their advice. And I'm so happy because I bought XRP. Yes, as Anointed say, bought XRP. I bought XRP, and I'm not as one of my thing is being completely honest, and I'm not the expert on crypto. I'm gonna let them talk about that. But in the general market, and also in US 30, who that's the market that I'm specializing on, and that's the only market that I trade actually is the US 30. Now today in this week we are in a special point. I was in one in my class this morning, and we are in a point that is the highest point since April 2022. Okay, so we have a huge whale, as we call it, who pushed the market down into this area, and we are on that top. Okay, hitting that wall, hitting that roof, and we are in a very good moment to just watch the market now. I would love to share my screen, but I don't know if I can do this on here. Do you know how to do it, Noah?
So I think on present, you should be able to share screen.
Screen. Yeah. There you go. No.
I know this is a new platform we're using. It's super powerful, but new.
So here you go. Yeah, is that one?
Boom.
Awesome. Boom. So yeah, this is where we are. This is where we are now. and the market has been down this zone since April 2022 that we crossed the zone back, and we are here. So we are having this formation that we can see over here. We are in a micro uptrend, but we are hitting this roof. So here is the point. We are getting close to the point that what is going to happen. And everybody asks me all the time, what is going to happen? I think one of our uh, most important or most value um, thing that we have is not knowing what is going to happen. Is letting the market do whatever the market is going to do, and then we react. When I learned that from Corey, our CEO, I said, that's so amazing. We don't have to guess what is going to happen to the market. The market, either way, is going to break this roof and go all the way to the top, or it's going to break this trend line and go. We just need to know which are the two options and why the market is going to do whatever the market is going to do. So when the market do it, we can react to what the market do. We don't have to predict what the market is going to do. We don't have to guess. We don't have to trying to guess what the market is going to do, so we take the transaction from here instead of from here. I mean, we just have to, and that's most of the time what I do with my students. We just have to show whatever the market can do. Paint, as I always say, draw all the lines that you want to draw in the trading view. Paint everything that you see. Okay, see which are the most valuable participants in the market in your chart, and then you don't have to guess what the market is going to do. The market is going to do whatever he wants to do. You know that we are getting to the break point. Either one is going to be upside or down, but we are getting there. So if the market decides to break this roof and go up, we're going to wait and we're going to go long all the way. If the market decide at this point to break this, so we're going to wait and we're going to go short all the way. And that's the whole idea. So we don't have to have anxiety. We don't have to deal with what's the market going to do. We don't need to try to guess. We don't need to try to make, it doesn't matter. If you enter a transaction here and you're going to go short, it is the same thing that if you wait and you enter a transaction here and you go short. So when you have everything, and that's my point, when you have everything in position and you have all your draws in there and you know what the market is doing, you are not going to have anxiety and you are not going to have FOMO because the transaction is leaving you. You know that the market is going to do that. Okay, don't worry. It definitely breaks the resistance that they have. Okay, I'm going to wait until the retracement and then I go. So this month, we are getting into a really decision point in my point of view on US 30. And I think something big is going to happen and the push is going to be big. Even though if it's on the upside or on the downside, we're gonna see a big push there, because the next point it's over here. If we take this guy out, the next point it's over here, and that's about 2,000 points in US 30. 2,000 points. We're talking about what, 20,000 pips or something like that. Yeah, insane. And the same way to the short side, with the next point will be here, it's 2,000 points again. So that's my whole analysis, you can say, for the month. We are getting into this point, into the corner of the triangle, and we will see what happened.
Awesome. So one thing I think was super, super powerful about what you're saying, Meche, is you're showing that giant ascending triangle, which is typically a bullish chart formation, but as us traders know, it does chart patterns don't mean anything. The key is understanding that it's an inflection point, and I love that
Yeah.
you pointed that out. It can look as bullish as it wants to look, but it might still break bearish. So the key that Meche is pointing out here, at least that I want to highlight, is that when you're at an inflection point, everything can say one direction, but really it can always go either direction, and that's where we let the market tell us. If you do see that huge breakout to the upside, that's probably going to mean that it's confirmed, that the chart pattern is confirmed, or if it is to the downside, that's the chart pattern is invalidated. So I think at least I'll just make this point, is I think beginning traders, they get caught feeling like they need to stick to their bias. Like if they think that it's going up, that they need to always make sure that they're going to look for a buy. But that's not the case. If you've been in this space for at least a little while, you'll see many times where it's like, all right, I thought the market was overwhelmingly bullish, but then it broke down bearish. What happened? And then you usually hold your trade too long and get stopped out. But at least from what I've seen, the more advanced you get into trading, I've seen some of the top pros out there, like even Paul Tudor Jones, one of the best traders in the world. These guys are okay with flipping their bias immediately, saying, oh, I'm long the market. Hey, guess what? I'm short the market. Because the key is you're at an inflection point. The key word is inflection point, where the market is going to either go up or down at that specific point, so you can mitigate risk. So you can know there's a large move, like Meche is saying, there's a large move that's going to happen at that point, but it's your job as a trader to try to watch the market and identify that move. Not sure if I got that right, Meche, but I just wanted to kind of put my 2 cents in.
Yeah, awesome. And thank you for that word, inflection point. That was the word. There was the who doesn't know. English is not my first language, so sometimes I get rough talking about these things in English. But yeah, that's a perfect word. No, inflection point. So look into the inflection point. Draw the triangle in your chart, and you're gonna see what happens. Be patient.
Totally. And huge props for Meche. She's she literally goes on these calls and does English and Spanish. That's way impressive. I just got English. So, all right, Anointed, you hopped on. Let's hear it.
Yeah, man, I'm here, man. Where you want me to start, man? Meche killed it. She definitely gave what I love about trading is when I first got into trading, it just seemed like a lot of people made it seem hard. It seemed like a lot of people made it seem real difficult. Today, 2023, the way I look at the charts, I'm like, oh my God, this is the easiest thing anybody can learn. I'm like, wow. With the right voices, with the right people, the right energy, with the right synergy, this is the most perfect thing. And what I love is we're dealing with a bisexual market. Like the market is bisexual, y'all. It's going to give you money both directions. And when it's not giving money, it's thinking about which way it want to go. That's it. The market, and then the other cool thing is the market is telling on itself. You ever heard you cannot predict the market? That's the biggest lie. That's the biggest. Listen, you gonna look at me? I don't care. I said it. That's the biggest lie they ever told you. You cannot predict the market. The market tells on itself. The truth is that you don't want to predict the market because you don't have to. So when they say you can't predict it, it's really that it's not that you can't predict it, it's that you don't have to predict the market because the market will tell you. See, you didn't have to predict what hour the call was going to be. You knew what time it was going to be. So imagine if you knew what time it was, would you get on a call 20 minutes later if you knew it started 16 minutes ago? No, because you knew the time. See, the market will tell you the time it's ready to go up. All you have to do is have the right people to place you in the right position to let you know what kind of actions the market takes before it's time to take the trade. If you knew the schedule for the trade and you set it up the right way, and the market said, okay, I'm ready to go now, you can make money every time the market is ready to go. Because the market goes up and it goes down and it goes sideways. It goes in three directions: up, down, and sideways. When it's going sideways, we're waiting for it to go up or down. When it's going up, we're waiting for it to go from one level to level 2 to level 3 to level 4. From level 4 to level 3 to level 2 to level 1. That's all trading is. If you can identify these levels, if you can identify these boxes, if you can read where the market says, okay, I'm ready to go to zone 2. Because this is the thing with trading that I teach my students. Trading is as easy as 1, 2, 3. You cannot go to zone 3 without going through zone 2. The market don't jump from zone 1 to zone 3. It would have to tell on itself from zone 2 to get to zone 3. And then when it gets to zone 2, and then when it gets to zone 3, it would need to think before it goes to zone 4 or back to zone 2. And in that thought process, something is happening inside the market that allows you to connect the dots of where the momentum wants to go. I trade off a price action, which means I don't even use the news. I don't watch the news. The only news I look at is crypto XRP news. All right, that's the only news I know, and what go on in my house. A lot of people say the world is crazy. The world is beautiful around here because the only world I live in is the world that I create. Trading allows you to go out, build the finances that you need to create the world that you want to live in. So this way you can control the environment that you're in. Because the only world we live in is the world that we exist in. Right now, you exist in a world that's telling you that there have been lies and that you are the master of your life. And you have full ability to grasp any amount of money that you need. There's not a dollar that you cannot make on your own with this skill set. I'm going to stop for there for now, and I'm going to pass it back to Noah.
I love that. Anointed is one of the best at simplifying trading, that's for sure. And he really shows you how the market is like its own organism, how it works, how it thinks. And I think when you start to understand how the market behaves, I think that's the best word I could give, how the market behaves, that's the key. Because when we look at the charts, it's just like, we're just seeing the line go somewhere or bars go somewhere. But if you understand how the market's actually telling us something, like I think, I forgot what you said, Anointed, but a market like gives you a clue on what it's going to do. So I think that's a super powerful piece to understand in your learning journey is you need to learn how the market behaves. Anointed is talking about zones. He's talking about directions, that the market is going to move from step to step. It's not just going to blast through all these. There's always going to be a thinking point, whether it goes to step 3 or step 2. That's key stuff to understand in this market. And I really, really appreciate that. So one thing I want to address, at least from my end, on what this market has been doing this month. So I come from the world of crypto. There's a lot of big things happening in cryptocurrency. Not sure who has been on either my sessions or the Crypto Wealth Fest, but there's a lot of things happening, especially in two specific coins, Bitcoin and XRP. Those really seem to be major focal points in this market right now. From at least a Bitcoin perspective, we have gigantic organizations such as BlackRock, Fidelity, Valkyrie, Invesco, all these billion and trillion dollar asset managers looking to create what's called a Bitcoin ETF. And Bitcoin ETFs are the gateway to companies, 401ks, pension plans, wealth funds, all moving into Bitcoin because they then don't have the risk of holding Bitcoin. They have a company like BlackRock that's going to hold the Bitcoin and issue shares of that Bitcoin. So they have the risk of holding the Bitcoin for people. And that's what people want. I just learned today that 70% of the supply of Bitcoin is not moving. It hasn't moved for 5 years, 70% of the supply. Some people are even predicting that a large percentage of that supply might even be lost because there's not really a great way for people to hold cryptocurrency. I mean, people are holding it on these wallets And it's up to ourselves to keep it safe. That's the whole reason banks were invented, was because we didn't want to just have our crypto or our dollars laying around. Somebody could just bust in and steal that, right? We could lose it. We could spend it. We wanted somebody to hold what's called custody over our funds. And yes, there's pluses and minuses. There's great pluses about holding onto your funds, but there's also drawbacks. And when it comes to liability, like companies, for example, if you have a 401k at a company, the company doesn't want to be like, hey, I left my Ledger wallet accidentally at the bar one day, and now we all don't have Bitcoin. They don't want to do that. So that's where a Bitcoin ETF is helpful, because BlackRock, they're going to use a custodian, which means somebody to hold their crypto and have it insured, and it's going to be Coinbase. So Coinbase is already going to be the custodian. So if you've seen Coinbase stock, I was marking up Coinbase stock on my charts. I can show you guys here. 1 second. So just looking at, oh yeah, hold on 1 second. I don't know if you guys can see. There we go. Coinbase. So if anybody knows my moon ride strategy, it's really, really simple. Just like Anointed said, trading can be simple. Is simply finding a base in the market and marking up the times that base has been touched. The larger the base, the higher the space. And since I knew that Coinbase was going to be the custodian for these ETFs, for at least BlackRock's ETF, they manage $10 trillion. I knew to buy the breakout of this position. And this is a stock even. And, it went up 30% in, I don't even think a week. Yeah, it went 30% in basically a day, which is great. So that's one thing we teach is how to buy this stuff, how to keep trading simple. But if we get back to, hold on, let me see if I can see everybody again. If we get back to kind of the fundamentals of this, is that's an important piece of what's going on. If you understand where the money is flowing, you can find opportunities, just like I found Coinbase. You can find Bitcoin. And what I found is all of these ETFs that are being opened up right now, they're all going to be buying a ton of Bitcoin because it's a specific Bitcoin ETF. And the question to ask yourself is, how much Bitcoin is actually on exchanges? Well, I did the research. It's 1.8 million. There's 21 million Bitcoin total. There's only 1.8 million. About 8.5% of Bitcoin is available on exchanges. So that means, so the question then you have to ask is, how much would it cost to buy all of that, right? And I believe it's around $60 billion. And out of all those asset managers, it's about, actually, I even have the numbers for you guys. Let me grab them for you. One second. Okay. There we go. So these are all of the institutions applying for an ETF right now. And the AUM is assets under management. So if I calculate up all the assets under management from each of these companies that are opening up a Bitcoin ETF, the total is around $15 trillion. And if I go to the supply of Bitcoin, there's 21 million Bitcoin. The circulating supply is 19 million. But the liquid supply, the amount on exchanges, is 1.8 million. So you multiply that by the current price of $30,000 per coin, you're looking at $56 billion. Well, if I take a 0.5%, less than a 1% allocation of their assets under management, if they put that into Bitcoin, less than 1%, a half of 1%, they would be able to buy all of the liquid Bitcoin off the markets. That means all of the Bitcoin on exchanges could be bought up with a 0.5% of effort of these institutions. So this is humongous. This is something that's never happened in the history of Bitcoin before. So that's the first piece of what I see here. And if you look at the price of Bitcoin is low, right? It's actually right almost closely to its midpoint. It's about to break through. And Bitcoin has never before had a supply shock, and this could be the first time in history Bitcoin has a supply shock. So I think that's important. The next thing that I'm seeing in this market, one second, got to figure out how to do this. Is when it comes to XRP. So really Bitcoin is kind of in a league of its own, right? It's over 50% of the market share. And it's been deemed a commodity already. There's really not a regulatory issue with Bitcoin right now. But with altcoins, there was. The SEC is going after altcoins. And they're deeming altcoins unregistered securities. And XRP was one of the first coins to be sued by the SEC. So it's kind of like the bellwether when it comes to whether altcoins are securities or not. And there was a ruling that XRP was actually not a security when it comes to getting traded on exchanges, but it will be considered an investment contract if it's doing an ICO, initial coin offering, or offered to institutions or big players. So the big sigh of relief here is all these exchanges were getting sued by the SEC. And they were thinking, all right, do I need to delist my cryptocurrencies? And you saw some exchanges delisting cryptocurrencies. And the prices went down, super quickly. And given this settlement for the SEC case, saying that pragmatic sales or sales from traded currencies on exchanges are good to go, all of these altcoins that were now risky now become much more safe in the eye of the investor. So from an altcoin perspective, just from the investor who's trading on exchanges, they're now safe, which is huge for the altcoin space. We've seen a 90-something% boom in XRP already. And this could be a huge part of the equation where we start to see the crypto market start to turn around. So I'll go ahead and stop there, but that's really the two narratives that I'm looking at in the crypto space.
Hey, listen, I could pick up from there.
Cool.
Because, man, I've been telling everybody about XRP for 5 years, man. Like, I don't know no one that's been telling people to buy XRP longer than me. I don't have I came across XRP when I was 24, years old. That was 6 years ago. I'm on my 6th year and it's wild to go this many years and see the vision and have it and know it this clear and know like, nah, this the one right here. And then see it go to the lawsuit. And what's also interesting is I didn't know what the SEC was until I got into crypto. And let's be honest, who else was paying attention to the SEC before crypto got sued by the SEC? Unless you was in this space already. A lot of people just followers, y'all. Becoming an investor, becoming a trader is about becoming a leader. A lot of times we trade the news before the news come out. Because the trader, when you trade price action, the market normally tells first, then the news comes second. And the crazy thing about it is most people won't even tell you that. You would never hear people always say trade the news. Well, when the news come out, you're too late. You can still make money off the news, but the market already moved. It already set itself up for the movement before the news. You're trading what you heard, not what's happening. Because money's moving too fast for you to keep up. You can't hear money. You can't time the money like that. The money is talking to you. You have to listen to the money. And you have to understand what the money is saying. You can't overtalk the money. You can't overhear the money. You have to listen. And I realized when the SEC lawsuit happened, a lot of people got out of the market because of the SEC lawsuit. But nobody even knew who the SEC was. You know what's funny? Soon as everybody went crazy rampage about the SEC and the XRP lawsuit and XRP winning, thousands of connections of mine reached out to me and said, bro, where do I buy XRP now? I asked everybody, why today? Why today? Why not yesterday? Why do you want to plant the seed to harvest when the corn is already showing? Now you want to put the seed in the dirt? Now you see the tomatoes falling off the tree. You want tomato seeds now. Now you want tomato seeds now. Okay. So now you see the strawberries blooming on a vine. Now you want strawberry seed. Now you want strawberries. But guys, it took this tree 4 years to develop this fruit. You want to start today? The day that we present the tree is the day that you want to start planting the tree. See, common sense ain't common. And if you're viewing this right now, you need to listen to the voices. The universe set you in the right space to become wealthy. I don't even believe I talk to people unless God want me to be wealthy. Because all I talk about is financial freedom and wealth. Because that's going to lead you to the great version of yourself. And the greatest and the fastest and the quickest and the dopest way to get there is in these markets. XRP stands for Excellent Retirement Plan or Extremely Rich People. Look at the price of Bitcoin right now and times it by 100. What's the number? What's the number you got? Give me a number, Noah. I don't got to calculate right now. Noah, if you could calculate me, what's the price of Bitcoin right now times 100?
3 million.
If I ask anybody in the car right now, would they want 3 million? Everybody's going to say yes. Give it to me. 3 mil, that's not one, that's not two, but that's three. But if I say, okay, go spend $1,000 on XRP right now, and then you'll have 3 million. You're just gonna get slow. You're gonna get rich in slow motion, but you'll have the 3 million. See, investing is only buying another day not to work. Every time you invest, you just bought another day in the future that you don't have to work. Another hour, another minute that you could sit back and do something else while money works for you. That's all you're doing. So we did 100 Bitcoins will be 3 million today. How much is XRP right now, Noah? Give me the exact price. I want the exact price of XRP.
All right, it's 72 cents.
It's 72 cents right now. Bitcoin is $20,000.
30.
$30,000. 72 cents. $30,000. What's more affordable? So, Noah, what's $1,000 times 72 cents?
$720. I like that I had to use a calculator. $720.
Okay. So now watch this. 700. Oh my God, this is crazy. This is crazy. You telling me even less than $1,000, I can have more than 500 coins? Less than $1,000, I can have more. So for $772, I can have more than 1,000 coins. Right now. So watch this. What's 1,000 times 100.
$100,000.
What's 1,000 times 100?
$100K.
So now you could invest less than $1,000 into XRP today. And every $100 that XRP move, you will make $100,000. So if I told you today, all you needed was less than $800 to make $100,000 every time XRP moved $100, and they're the first regulated cryptocurrency on the planet, standing right next to Bitcoin, and it can move any amount of money from point A to point B. The lady that's on the $100 bill, her name is Rosie Rios. She's on the board of leadership with Ripple. So all the stars are aligned. I would be spending, if I was you, I would get on my class here with Driven every Sunday. I would get on my class with Driven every Tuesday with me and Noah. I would get on Meche's class every time she teaches. And I would make at least $1,000 a week, because you could do that with me. I make $1,000 a week and put at least 700, 800 to the side from your cell phone. So now, let me ask you a question. What happens, Noah, when you say, you know what, I'm going to listen to Anointed, and for the next 4 weeks, I'm going to go ahead and invest? Or I'm going to take all the money out of my bank and put it into an investment. What happens when you invest? What's 772 times 4? We in math class. We in math class. See, women lie, men lie, but numbers don't.
3,000.
Okay. What's 3,000 coins? What's 3,000 coins times 100?
300,000.
Wow. So every $100 the coin move, I make 300,000. Now I want you to do this. This is what we're gonna do. Noah, this is how I'm gonna wrap mine up. I'm gonna wrap it up like this. All right, because we gotta tie this in real good. I want to make sure the laces is laced in. I want to make sure it's tied. I want to make sure the knot is made. I want to make sure everything is good. I want to make sure everybody got their shoes on so they can sprint to the money. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna compare XRP to Bitcoin. Now I want you to do 3,000. No. Let's start from the 1,000, because we got to take baby steps, right? Just like in the market, you can't go from step 1 to step 3. You gotta go through the zone. So we're gonna start. You can't even get to 3,000 till you get to 1,000, right? So less than $1,000 can get you 1,000 coins right now. So at 1,000 coins, and if we just compared it to Bitcoin, take the price of Bitcoin right now and times it to 1,000. Let's go, and give me that number, Noah.
What am I doing?
You're doing 1,000 times the current number of BTC.
Current price of Bitcoin?
Yes, sir.
30,000. So it's 30 million.
30 million, huh? 30. Can anybody use the extra 30 million? Because if you had 1,000 coins, when you get 1,000 coins, not if, when you get 1,000 coins, and when XRP scales to the same price that Bitcoin is today, you'll now be up $30 million. And you could say, I learned that from a call that was on YouTube. Hey, the truth is the truth, whether you believe it or don't believe it. Now let's go to the next step. For those of you that are just are real true investors, and you looking for that real bag, what happens now if you have 3,000 coins? We did 1,000. Now, Noah, do 3,000 times the current number of BTC, and what do we have?
90 million.
Wow, almost $100 million. So, wow. I don't even know what to say no more, guys. I don't have that. All right. What they say, how they say it in court? No further words.
Sweet. So Anointed is definitely the best at putting vision out there. That's for sure. So I think it's powerful. You never know how high the price of a coin can get. Of course, there's no guarantees, but as long as you set up probabilities, you see really how far the market has to go for those to happen, and you put reasons for that actually happening. For example, for XRP to be worth 30,000 per coin. Let's see here. 1 second. At least at its current supply, you'd need the market cap to be 1.6 quadrillion. That's what it would have to be. Now, that's clearly a ton of money, but say the market XRP ends up being the tokenization coin for the entire derivative space. That is a quadrillion-dollar market. So that would be essentially the case, at least in my opinion, that would have to happen for XRP to be $30,000 a coin. And it could be. So it's just one of the things that I think is powerful when it comes to actually seeing where things can go. For example, XRP is in the interbank settlement process. It's in the tokenization of assets space, which right there is a $50 trillion space. Not to say it's going to get the whole market share, but that's the power of understanding at least where price could potentially go to.
Can I say this? I need to say this. Nostro accounts. So XRP, the technology is built to release liquidity that has not been released. So, okay, this is not gonna make sense to the average person, so I'm gonna give you a story that'll make sense. All right. It's like, have you ever put too much toilet tissue in the toilet and it gets backed up? So all right, check this out. This is so dope too. All financial markets have backed up money that's locked. There's locked liquidity across the board in every market. There's locked money that's not even being used. That's like it is. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's called Nostro accounts. XRP is like the liquid that goes down the drain that helps it all flow out. If that makes sense. XRP is the technology that open source to release all this money that's not being used in the world to flow in. And it also settles transaction from point A to point Z, Z being anywhere in the world in the matter of 3 seconds. So Noah can go to outer space and I could be in China and I can send Noah $1 million in 3 seconds. And it will cost me fractions of a penny to get it to him. This is why the currency is so vital. The next step and the next fact that you will need to know to tie it all together is that Fed now is coming out on February on the 20th of this month. Guys, we just got regulatory clarity on Fed now. So check this out. If you go to Fed now and look at what they're trying to do, it's so similar to what XRP is doing. It's almost as if they're going to work together, or XRP now having that regulatory clarity, they will be able to implement the systems. So this way, governments and all capital currency derivative places can now send money out with little to no cost, saving institutions, banks, and everybody billions and billions of money. to make transactions. Crazy thing about XRP is that XRP is like the biggest middleman of all middlemen, because it don't really play a side of anything. It really helps everybody move money around. And you also want to think about it this way. You want to invest into something that everybody don't know about, but everybody needs. So when everybody realize they need it, they'll be trying to get it. And now the value of that investment is so high because the demand of everybody wanting it. Now keep this in mind. I am not a financial advisor, and all this is just education. And you have to do your own research, and you have to go out there in the world and put these things together your own way. But I'm here just as a guide, and as a voice, and as someone that you can listen to, and I have an opinion on these markets, a very strong one. And you can choose to listen to it or not. But keep in mind, just a disclaimer, this is not financial advice, and past profits do not equal future results. So keep your head in the game, guys. Keep investing, keep your eyes open, and stay woke.
Oh, we might have lost Anointed. Oh,
I'm still here.
sweet. Or maybe we lost him again.
Yep, is my connection chilling? All right, there we go. Yeah, so outside of those things, I would say that XRP, we're living in a time right now where it's one of the greatest times for us to be alive to watch this happening. Because you got to think about your children is going to have children. All this going to happen already. And by the time they become conscious to the world, we'll be living inside what we watch happen from the top. So that's all I have for y'all right now. I'm going to pass it back to you, Noah.
Awesome. Killer stuff. It's I agree with Anointed. It's a beautiful time to be in right now, especially because of how digital things are. And I'll pass it to Maria here in a second. And the thing that I'm so grateful for, that I think is powerful to understand, is the ability to actually be able to invest in assets like this has never before been something that was possible. Before, for example, if you're part of, say, the IX community in the debt system, like how could you ever have access to investing in gold or oil or any sort of commodities, or investing in major shifts in the banking technology, financial technology, exchange technology, liquidity providing technology? This wasn't possible without being at a time where we are right now. And cryptocurrency is one of the things that is the number one aspect that's allowing the everyday individual able to invest in things that they weren't able to invest in, to have opportunities they weren't able to have opportunities for. With most investments, if they weren't, say, tokenized, you actually had to be an accredited investor to be able to have any opportunity at doing that. Can you believe that the United States government believes that we're not competent enough to invest in opportunities unless we have $1 million net worth, or we make $200,000 annually for two consecutive years? And sometimes it's even more stringent than that. The U.S. government doesn't believe we are competent enough. That's the word I'm going to say, to be able to do that. We have to have already become rich to be able to invest money to become rich. How crazy is that? And I think that's a big piece to be super grateful for, especially for the cryptocurrency space, is that we can now tokenize things that used to be only for accredited investor, or used to only be for people who knew somebody. It's how the rich get richer, right? They found opportunities, and they're part of that opportunity ecosystem. You can't just go online and go on Coinbase or go on Robinhood or go onto the blockchain or a decentralized exchange and find opportunities that can, potentially change your life. That's a huge thing. And I see that really powerfully in the crypto space. So a huge thing to be grateful for. Imagine, you had to start an oil field. You couldn't just invest in one. You had to start it, or you had to get a bunch of capital, or you had to become a millionaire. The whole goal is to find things to make us a millionaire. But why is it the things to make us a millionaire? We already have to be a millionaire to get access to those things. It's a paradox, right? Really, really crazy stuff. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Meche and ask you, really, maybe, do you see anything? I know you trade a lot of US 30. Do you follow the stocks when it comes to US 30, or are you purely price action? And if it comes to monthly movers, are you looking at a top-down analysis from a month, or are you always looking at lower time frames? And it's totally okay for whatever the answer is. I'm just curious, because some people are fundamental traders and some people are strictly technical traders. And I think it's a key to know that there's both.
Yeah. Well, in my daily, most of the time, I only watch the market on a low time frame, because I'm a day trader. Okay,
Yep.
but since, I don't know, maybe 2 months or 3 months ago, I like to more understand what's happening in the market. When and I always say it in my classes, I'm not the person who gets normally 1,000 points in US 30. I mean, I go for short, quick positions. It's not um, as quick as I would love, but it's day trading. Normally, my positions doesn't go for more than 2 hours, the most. Okay, so but I think there is a beauty on when you are trading a market, understanding what is happening at the end. I mean, what is happening in the big picture. Okay, so that's why nowadays I go into 1 day time frame, for example, 4 hours time frame. That maybe it's not gonna change my position when I'm going for 100 points in US 30, but at least I can understand what it's really happening in the market. So I'm uh, getting into go more into swing traders in US 30, that it's going to be a whole different things. And of course, I have a different account for that, because that's one of the things that I recommend. It would be different process, different trading plans, different risk to rewards management. So it's completely different things. But I'm going more into that because it's a completely different understanding of the market. And I
So
think when
Meche,
you're going into the swing traders, you need to go into the fundamentals. You need to start looking at what happening to the stock market. I mean, you need to do like a more big research. When I'm doing just the intraday trading, with the price action, I mean, I'm more than happy with that.
So, Mitch, I have a question for you. I think what you're saying is so important. One thing I've found, and I want to know if you've seen the same thing, is when it comes the difference between looking at a higher time frame and bringing it down to a day trade. How many times do you see people where they go onto the high time frame and they're like, "Oh, hey, look, it's bullish. Look, US 30 is going up," and then they day trade and they're looking for longs, but the market, shorts. I think you can touch on really, how that mistake can happen.
Yeah, it happens because you are looking into maybe a higher time frame. That if you look into a higher time frame, I always told that to my students. If you're looking into the higher time frame, you need to have a different take profit and then a different stop loss. You cannot look into a higher time frame. I cannot go into a chart and look into a 4 hour chart and trying to put a 20 points stop loss. I mean, it's not gonna happen. Why? Because, but at the end, the risk to reward is gonna be the same. Maybe I'm not looking into a 20 point stop loss, but I'm also not looking into a 100 point take profit in 4 hour time frame. So the things are completely different, and maybe it's a matter of patience. When you are doing, for me, when you are doing a swing trade, you will have to develop more patience. You will have to develop more patience. The patience on that you need to wait until the price get to your point, that you need to wait, and maybe you're going to draw down, I don't know, 50, 100 point, and it's okay because you're looking for a 1,000 point transaction. So it's completely different. So most people, what they do, it's okay, yeah, we are in an uptrend in 4 hours, but we all know that the market doesn't go all the way up. The market moves in back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. So if you're looking into a 1 day time frame or 4 hour time frame, and you're gonna put a transaction that only lasts for 20 minutes or half an hour, you are maybe catching that transaction in just the retracement. So you lose a transaction. And what I lose a transaction is how uptrend. And most of the time what happens is that the market continue going up and it hits your take profit. Yeah, but you're looking into the wrong time frame. Because if you're gonna look into 4 hours, 1 day time frame, you need to know what you're looking for and what's your take profit. It's not gonna be the same that if you're looking into day trading. And that's why and most people say, well, I cannot do swing traders because I don't have a big account that support all Dow. And that's not true. That's not true, because if you have a 100 point, let's say 100 point stop loss, you're probably going to have, I don't know, 300 points take profit. So you just change your lot size, because the risk or rewards is still the same. You're looking for 1, 2, 3, the same thing. That if you look for 25 or 30 points stop loss and 100 point take profit, it's the same thing. Just so that's why sometimes I always ask the people, please don't get caught in the amount of points or in amount of pips. You just have to see how much is your risk to reward. If your risk to reward is worthy, go ahead. It doesn't matter if your whole goal is to catch only 30 points. If your whole goal is to catch 30 points and your stop loss is 3 points, you have a better transaction than most of the people in the world. I mean, it doesn't matter. What matters is how much is your risk to reward. But you need to know in one, if you're gonna trade, if you're gonna be a scalper, you cannot look the charts in 1 hour. You are not gonna do anything in 1 hour. The charts move too much to see in 1 hour to be a scalper. So you need to look the charts in a lower time frame. But if you wanna be a swing trader, you have nothing to do in 1 minute or 5 minutes, really, because it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's why one of the things that you need to know first, it's what type of trader you are, what you like. You like to be on a scalper, or you like to leave a transaction for 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month there. Once you define that, you can see how you're gonna look the charts.
Awesome. I love that. I think that's a huge piece that people miss. You got to know what type of trader you are. If you're looking at the higher time frames, it's probably not going to apply as much to really low time frames. So definitely hop on Maria's sessions. She is a crazy. She's one of our most successful traders, the fastest learners. She's gone through the education so many times that she's mastered this skill set. And it's just such a cool thing to see a product of our education. And I've seen some crazy trades from Meche, some like 10-to-1 risk to rewards. So not to say that it's always going to happen, but like just seeing that her technique alone can produce those type of risk to reward opportunities, it's unbelievable. I've gone through her sessions and I don't even understand what she's saying. That's how much I like to learn from her. She's taught me a lot about day trading. So absolutely hop on her sessions or go through her education. But on that note, that brings us to the end of the time here. Anointed, Meche, any last things you want to cover, or are we all good? And anybody in the chat, any questions?
I think that man, I think this is a very impactful, dope call. I love the topic. I love everything that went across. And if our reviewers on here, if they loved it, I'm pretty sure they're gonna get invested and they're gonna be in class. So I think it was really dope. Shout out to everybody. If you guys want any extra additional information, you guys can follow me on Instagram at He's Anointed. It's right there at He's Anointed. Yeah, have a good one.
All right. Amazing. Any last words, Meche, or are you good to go?
I'm good to go. I just want to say thank you again for being here. All of you that are in this call and people who is watching this record. What Noah just said 5 minutes ago about the opportunity that we have now, we as a normal human beings, not millionaires, not own a big company, we have the opportunity to change the future, not of our life, of our generations. And that's here. That's just in the internet, just doing a click. You just have to learn from the people who know. So that's why I say at the beginning, when I think it was 3 months ago or 2 months ago, when Anointed told me you need to buy XRP. I know he knows about XRP. I'm not an expert. I can start studying XRP and do the research, and of course, I did some of the research. But when he told us go and buy XRP, I went to buy XRP. Whatever your capital say that you need to buy. I mean, it's not like if you don't have $1,000, you are not gonna buy $1,000. But whatever you can invest, I'm gonna go and invest it. I'm not gonna start going back and forth with Anointed. Why you think it's XRP? Why no? I think this or not, because I don't know about that. I just believe in the people who knows. It's the same thing. When Apple comes into the market in the 70s, no one wants to buy Apple shares. The one who bought it, well, this story it's different. So do your research, but believe in people who know what they're talking about. Awesome. Being educated now, educated in this platform, in this world, in this crypto or stock or trading, it's the future, guys. It's the future for make the difference for your generations.
Absolutely. And I'll just end with this. Just stick around the investment community. Stick around for at least a few years and see what happens. The craziest things can happen. You know, if you just drop a little drop of water on the floor, you know, over and over and over again, you'll soon have a puddle. You'll soon have a swimming pool. You'll just see in the investment space what happens from just being in the space. It can be incredibly, incredibly powerful. So on that note, I just encourage everybody to hang around the fire of investments, of trading, and just watch what happens. I think that's such a powerful aspect. So on that note, appreciate you guys tremendously. We will see you guys next week on Trade Talks. Let us know if you have any suggestions on topics. And as always, let's go to the moon. I'll see you guys.